This holiday season, send joy that pops. Join me, Shari Filamahala, in this great video where I'm going to walk you through our Deck the Halls card kit and what you're going to get inside there. I'm going to show you 6 cards that you can create with that kit. Plus, I'm going to give you a step-by-step tutorial on how to create this dimensional layered pop-up card. I'm going to teach you how to create this little pop-up mechanism. It's going to be so great to reuse in all your cards and albums. You can add some rub-ons to your cards, and then look at all this dimension. I'm going to show you how to take a regular, boring old card base and add a little oomph and excitement with this frame technique. In this kit, you're going to get step-by-step directions with colored photos on how to create this. There is an update to this project sheet that I will walk you through in the tutorial. You're going to get Ivory card bases. These are 100-pound cardstock, and you get 6 card bases and 6 envelopes. 2 different Deck the Halls embellishments. We've got the rub-on transfers. You get 2 sheets in there, and the Ephemera assortment pieces, boasting with 70 different die-cut pieces. What Graphic 45 kit wouldn't be complete without our gorgeous papers? In the Deck the Halls 8x8, you're going to get 8 double-sided patterns and solids. You're going to get 2 sheets of these journaling cards, plus all these decorative papers. It's going to make card making easy peasy. Now let's create this pop-up layered card. We're also going to make these dimensional cards fit perfectly inside this envelope with a little crafting hack. The first thing I like to do is grab that project sheet, and in here you'll see there are directions with a supply list, and I like to grab all the supplies I'm going to need. I have my handy dandy craft caddy here. It's got all of my favorite tools and adhesives, and I picked this up from IKEA and I have really fallen in love with it. So let us know, what do you use to keep everything organized? So to get started, we're going to grab our Ivory card bases. This comes in that card kit, and these are 10 inches by 7 inches. So if you are just creating at home with what you've got, you can just cut a nice heavy duty cardstock to 10 by 7. And actually we are going to trim it down just a wee bit. So it's actually going to end up being 10 by 6 3/4. That is Carla's little hack. So we can have our cake and eat it too. So we can have dimensional envelopes, we can have dimensional cards that are still gonna fit inside that envelope. So just by cutting off this wee bit, it's really gonna help everything slide into place. I'm just doing 1 card base right now, but I would suggest to do 1, get the hang of it, learn everything you need to learn, and then after that, batch do these. So once you know what you've got going on, then you can go ahead and do the other 5 all together. And that's going to make creating so much easier and enjoyable. So I went ahead and scored on the 10-inch side at 5 inches. Before I burnish this down, I'm going to make sure everything's lining up. So I have my corners lined up, everything's even, and then I'm going to take my bone folder and start in the center, and then burnish that down. All right, so this is the trickiest part of the whole tutorial. We're going to be cutting out a frame. So I have gone ahead and traced my frame. You can do that if you'd like. The dimensions are going to be 1 inch down from the top, 1 inch from the crease, and 1 inch from the right hand edge. And then from the bottom, it's going to be 2 1/4 from the bottom. Of course, if you don't want to mark this, you can always do this with your paper trimmer, just dropping things accordingly. So if you aren't going to mark this, you can just put your right hand edge at the 1 inch mark, bring your trimmer down to 1 inch, And then we are going to take this to 4.5. I'm going to move this over to the 1-inch mark again. It's at 4.5 now. I'm going to take it up to 1 inch. I have now rotated this. So now I'm going to have it at my 1-inch mark again. And it's at 1 inch. Now this time I'm going to bring it to 4 inches because I'm cutting this 3 inches across. Excellent. And then I'm going to add this. So I could do it down here, but you can't see that. So I've got it flipped up here. And I can just cut it on my traced line. But that's also from the top edge. That's at 4.5 inches. So I'm cutting from 4 to 1 inch, so 3 inches across. And now I have this lovely frame piece and centerpiece. The centerpiece we are going to cut down. So we're going to cut this down to 2.5 by 3 inches. 2.5. By 3. Now, if you traced yours out with a pencil, go ahead and erase those pencil marks. And if you want to take things up a notch, you can always take a nail file or some sanding paper and just go ahead and file off any uneven edges. You can see I'm ready for a new blade. So go ahead and get one of those next time I pop into the craft store. For step 1 and 2, for all of your cards, you're going to be cutting your pieces to 4 7/8 by 6 5/8. The project sheet has those directions a little bit mixed up, so I'll put that in the description here and on the screen. For card 1, that's going to be Calm and Bright and Mistletoe Kisses. Before you adhere this down, let's go ahead and do some tracing to make this cutting out this window easy. So I'm going to do some tracing on the plaid side. I want my floral side out, so this way I won't be marking any pencil on the side out that I'd like. So I'm going to find my placement how I like it, right in the center on the inside of my card base. And just using some washi tape or paper clips or something you've got on your craft desk, and flip this over. Taking a pencil, I'm going to go ahead and trace this out. Take off my washi tape. And you can see now I have this frame traced out. Now, when I'm trimming this out, I want it to be larger than what I've traced. I want it to be 1/8 of an inch larger all the way around. So I'm going to take my trimmer and put it on my traced line, and then I'm just going to move it to be 1/8 of an inch larger, just eyeballing that. And then I'll start my trimming and go 1/8 of an inch larger on the top and bottom as well. And I'll do this all the way around. So once you like your placement, this way I'll have a nice little ivory card border that will be showing. Of course, you could just trim it to the traced measurements and then not have that little extra. But this will give us a nice little polished look. I need a little help popping this out. I'm going to take my fine tip scissors and just trim. Now let's just check to see how we like this. And I've got some white all the way around and it fits beautifully. So now we can go ahead and start adhering our papers. So to do that, just take your favorite adhesive, and we want to add adhesive to our frame card area. So I've added my adhesive, and I want my polka dots on the inside and my snowflakes on the outside. So just find the center and go ahead and burnish that down. Add your adhesive to the front, and then we can go ahead and add our floral piece. Step 3, we have our poinsettia red from the Patterns and Solids, and this has been cut to 2 3/8 by 2 7/8. And then adhere this onto your ivory rectangle. Add some foam adhesive to the back, and we're going to put this in the center of our little frame here. So what a fun way to add dimension and character with a card base. Just cutting out that frame really adds so much interest, and the inside beautiful as well. From your Ephemera assortment pack, you're going to find these pieces you see laid out here on my table. We're going to add a bit of dimension to our card. So of course you can do that by adding foam adhesives to the back or foam tape. I am using the scrapbook adhesives, which we absolutely love. But if you don't have any foam adhesive, you can always take some cardboard, which I'm sure you've got at home, and just cut this to fit on the back of your pieces and use your adhesive, and voila, dimensional adhesive. So let's start out with our snow globe. So you may notice I've got adhesive, dimensional adhesive on the top, or on the bottom rather, and on the top I'm going to use some liquid adhesive to be approximately here on my card. And of course, when you're adhering things down, you can always lay them out before you adhere, but since I'm looking from the picture at our project sheet, it takes all the guesswork out. I was going to put my nutcracker down, but actually let's do the snowflake next. So we're just building up a scene because we have so many different ephemera assortment pieces that came in this card kit. Layer this guy, and I'm going to add another foam adhesive piece here. As you can see, I've popped it on top of a popped area. So this needs an extra bit of dimension to reach that bottom. And then let's add a sentiment. All is calm, all is bright. And I think we need a little extra help lifting up this star as well. So add a little extra foam there. So much dimension. I love all that shadow and interest. Step 5, we're going to open up that card, and then just taking some leftovers. We've cut this piece to be 1.5 by 6 5/8. It's just going to go next to here, just creating that cohesive scenery that we cut out from our frame we are going to be using on the inside. We're going to go ahead and adhere it about 1 inch from the top and 1/4 inch from the side. Step 6, we're going to take this border piece, and we've cut it to be 5 3/4, and then we're just going to do some scoring. We're going to score at a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and then 1/4 inch from this edge, so that's going to put us at 5 1/4. Okay, go ahead and fold on those crease lines. So you should have a piece that looks like this. We're going to add adhesive to these 1/2 inch sections on the edge. I like using liquid adhesive for this because then I can wiggle things around if I need to. And then with my single fold side here, it's going to go next to our fold where we're going to fold our card base. So I'm just going to leave a tiny bit of room, And then I'm going to put this in about the center of our floral piece here. So adhere that down. And then I'm going to flatten this out. I've got my second of my score lines here. My first one is folded over and it is flat. So let me just show you up close so you can see a little bit better. So when it's folded all the way flat, the 1/2 inch areas on the right and left are adhered down. And you can see we do still have our one crease here. So it just has that great little pop-up, and it's going to fold flat this way and pop up open when you're opening it. Easy and cute with the help of those borders. Next, we're going to take this A Season to Wonder cut apart, and it's going to go on our pop-up section here. So I'm going to add some liquid adhesive, just leaving about 1/2 inch on either side. And then I'm going to take my cut apart and find that sweet little center point, minding my fold here. Make sure things aren't sticking down and go ahead and crease. So now we have this floating little message. Add little adhesive dots up in the top. And we'll adhere our little snowflakes. Now here's where we really gonna let the ivory card base shine. We're gonna grab some of our rub-ons. Of course, you can use this popsicle stick or you can use your bone folder. I already have mine out, so I'll use that. And if you look close, you can see there are all these cute little snowflakes and little paint splatters. I want to include those, so be mindful of all of that. I'm going to cut this apart a little bit, and now we can go ahead and start to rub these on. And of course, you can find any placement that you'd like and just go ahead and add these. We find it's really nice to add them to the corners and edges. It really brings in the projects and then leaves you a nice space for writing your sentiments. How cute is this little nutcracker? And you can see what's a fun thing about rub-ons is that you can add them over top of one another. So just kind of adding some extra dimension. And they just slide right back into the background. It's kind of like a stamp or a stencil. How beautiful does this look? Now let's decorate this envelope a bit using some of those scrap bits and pieces. So of course you're going to have some extra ephemera bits, and then this is just the same paper we used twice on our card. Then just trace those corners and cut to fit so this fits on your envelope flap. And flip this over. And then we're going to go ahead and decorate the bottom corner just a little bit. So before I adhere these all the way down, just kind of playing with my placement. And voila. What a great way to use up those leftover bits and pieces. Now we're all done with our card. You can see we added pop-ups to the inside. We've got a lot of dimension on the outside, that gorgeous frame. So much to learn in one amazing card tutorial. Card 2. Card 3. Four. 5. 6. you can become a subscriber to our card kits, and you'll get a new card kit sent to you every time they're available. We come out with a new card kit and an album kit with every new Graphic 45 paper collection. So that's 8 a year. And with each one, you learn new techniques and you get new products to use. So it's a great way to stay creative all year long. And there's some great perks along with our kits as well. You're going to get 10% off all your future Graphic 45 purchases. You learn new techniques with us, and you can cancel anytime. Hop over to check out the walkthrough of this Deck the Halls album kit. And if you're looking for more great Graphic 45 videos, become a subscriber to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of these fun tutorials. We thank you for joining us, and as always, happy paper crafting.